about the International Energy Agency calling for a, quote, energy lockdowns in an urgent report issued today. I just saw this, so I went to a neutral source, AI, and I wrote in, the International Agency is calling for energy lockdowns. And this is what it's showing me. It says, it is important to clarify the context here. The International Energy Agency, the IEA, is not calling for lockdowns in the way we experienced during the last 5 years, mandatory stay-at-home orders. However, as of March 2026, the IEA has issued an urgent call for, quote, demand-side measures to address the global energy crisis triggered by the conflict in the Middle East, specifically involving Iran. While some online disclosures has labeled these energy lockdowns, the IEA's actual recommendations, and these are strong recommendations, are focused on voluntary behavioral changes and government-led incentives to prevent fuel shortages and price spikes. The IEA's 10-point plan, as of March of 2026, is a report titled Sheltering from Oil Shocks. The IEA outlined 10 immediate actions to reduce oil demand as crude prices have nearly doubled since the end of 2025. And these are the key recommendations, including expanded remote work, encouraging employees to work from home where possible to eliminate commuting fuel use. Reduce speed limits, cutting highway speed limits by at least 10 kilometers or 6 miles per hour to improve fuel efficiency. Car-free Sundays and plate rotation, suggesting that large cities implement odd-even plate schemes where cars only drive on certain days to reduce congestion. Kind of like what you heard about in the 70s. Public transport incentives, making buses and trains cheaper or more accessible to discourage private car use. Reduce aviation, encouraging businesses to swap short-haul flights to rail or virtual meetings. Thermostat adjustment, turning down heating or up cooling to reduce the strain on the electric grid. Why is this happening? It talks about how the IEA's executive director, Faith Burrell, has described the current situation as the, quote, greatest global energy security threat in history. The disruption of transit through the Strait of Hormuz has significantly choked the world's oil supply, and on and on. So, some things we could probably do to save on energy. Why don't we just shut down the AI data centers, which are consuming, on average, 5 million gallons of water a day. And I just read an article yesterday about the largest AI data center on the planet being built in the panhandle of Texas, which I think the guy said, or mentioned in the article, that it will consume the same amount of energy that's all the households in Texas daily. And then God knows how many millions of gallons of water. Florida's having water issues with AI data centers draining the aquifers. Alaska is in a drought right now, and no one's even mentioning that Nebraska has massive amounts of wildfires that are 0% contained. So, something to think about when it comes to planning. Think about gas. Propane lasts forever if you store it safe and correctly. Rotate. Buying extra gasoline, rotate that, for your leaf blowers and camping and whatnot. Plan ahead, plan accordingly, do what you can, but let me know what you guys are hearing, if you guys hear anything else about this. So be safe and well.